Hey, welcome to another episode of Politics and Wellness. I am your host, Captivating Christian. And of course, you guys are, of course, my co-hosts for this evening. So hopefully everybody's doing well and you've had a great, start to your week. And of course, it's never a dull moment with this particular administration. So there's a lot to talk about. Some things I'll just briefly kind of gloss over, some things I'll really get into. But of course, if you have any questions of anything that you've all seen, please, of course, by all means, do share and we can talk about it together. Hey, what's up going on, Johnny Mac? Nice to see you. And everybody else who's in the balcony, of course. Welcome. Give me 1 second because this thing popped up out of here and I was trying to do something. But anyway, let's get started. So, where do we start? All right. So, of course, your loving President Donald Trump. And for 60 some odd more days, I still have to say that, as there's like a lump in my throat every time I say it. But, it is what it is. He's still trying to fight this election. And I mean, he's really going hard, trying to fight the results. I mean, I just don't, I get it if the man, is not accustomed to losing, which that would not be possible because he filed bankruptcy 6 times. So clearly he is used to losing. So I really don't know what it is. I think from jump, he knew that he did not really have a chance to run against another male. I think he knew that in 2016. That's why he was so elated when Joe Biden decided not to run for president because he had lost his son. And he decided at that time that it wasn't the right time to run for his family. So I think at that point, Donald Trump and the people in his camp was sure like, okay, we can win this. I don't think he ever thought, I'll take that back. I think he always thought that it would be a contentious race if there was another male involved, especially another white male, because of all the stuff he was already spewing. Hey, what's going on, Brother Nate? How you doing? Thanks for popping in. So I always think that was an issue for this particular president and this administration, but so much is going on with them in these last couple of days, 60 some odd days and counting, that well, for one, we'll talk about real brief, and I also mentioned this in my Newsday show for tomorrow. Student loans. So for those of you who have student loans and remember, this loving president froze those up until December 31st. However, come January, your student loans will be reenacted. So, and do I think he's going to issue another executive order and extend those benefits? No. I think he feels at this point, you didn't vote for him. He lost. So whatever happens in these 60 days, you deserve it. It's pathetic, but we have to know the person that we're dealing with. For me, it's always know the people that you are looking at, who you're viewing, like study them. And certain things won't surprise you about particular people, like this president. Nothing at this point surprises me that he is capable of doing in these 60 days, along with removing troops from Afghanistan, on top of trying to figure out if we can attack Iran. I mean, I really don't get him. I mean, of course, him blocking the transition team is a bit of a problematic issue because there's a lot of things that the incoming administration needs to know about, the threats that we face. However, at the same time, I know why he is not letting them in on the transition, because then all the secrets get revealed. You kind of figure out who's been in bed with whom and all these things. So that can also cause an issue that I'm sure he's a bit nervous about. But word on the curve is that President-elect Joe Biden will not pursue any any of Trump's wrongdoing. He doesn't want that to clout his presidency in the White House. However, that does not mean that the Attorney General, who is supposed to actually be independent from the White House, may not pursue some criminal charges. So I say all that to say in a nutshell that the way this administration has run and the way Fred Flintstone, otherwise known as Bill Barr, has run the Justice Department, as well as being an Attorney General, has been totally submissive and supportive of whatever this president does or continues to do, even pushing this whole that the votes were fraudulent and all this other mess that many people, even in the Justice Department, have said, you know what, no, I'm resigning because this is ridiculous. It has actually been reported by both Republican and Democratic election officials that this election has been the safest, even under the stress of the pandemic. 1 second. So, under the stress of the pandemic, this has been one of the best as far as that was concerned. So, I don't know what this means for a lot of people. I mean, I definitely think that whatever Trump feels that he can do to dismantle or give the Biden-Harris administration a kind of tough way to go, they're going to do it. So if that means having people, looking at what they could do for their loan forgivenesses, as far as student loans, or even mortgages, or anything that was frozen during the particular time that the president had actively had it frozen, we'll see. I mean, the only other good thing is that Congress still has the power to add this to a stimulus relief package, a number 2 package, if you will. Do I think Congress is going to be able to do it? That all depends. Again, we may be dealing with the same kind of Trump mentality on the end of Mitch McConnell. Georgia, please do not forget that you still have an opportunity to win us the Senate. So you have 2 Senate runoffs, Pastor Warlock, and also Joe Ossoff is running for the 2 Democratic seats in the state of Georgia. So if you are 17 and will be turning 18 after January somewhat, please make sure you are registered to vote to make that change. I think they're like, it's either 2,800 or 2,300 or either 23,000. And I think it's more like 23,000 votes of people who will be turning 18 somewhere between the registered date and the date to vote in Georgia that they are gunning for. And I really hope, and my prayer is that we got to see how important our vote is. It really is when we show up. And that's a whole nother thing. We can talk about that later with the hip hop version. Just put a pin in that. But yeah, I just hope we really got to see how important our vote is. And when, we really work the system can work for us. Now, by all means, I'm not saying that, we are clean and clear and we're not going to fight to make sure that this administration and administrations to come do not make sure that they do stuff for our communities and for our people. But my overall on this is that the process does work, but we have to participate in it. It's not the greatest, no, but we can't sit back and be mad about the things that are going on in our lives and in our communities and then don't act upon it to at least participate in making sure that we put people in place. Again, that we put people in place in office that can move the needle into where we can start seeing changes in our own communities. Do I have any information on the forgiveness loans under Biden? No, I do not have any information just yet on the forgiveness loans under Biden, but I can look that up for you and get back to you on that, and I can put it in my community wall. So I don't want to misquote as far as what his forgiveness loans will cover, because President Donald Trump will still be president when these expire. And my theory is that he will allow them to expire, allow people to, go through hardship until Biden comes in or Congress steps in and overrides it. And I was about to say, with the Georgia Senate in the balance of who will hold power in the Senate, which is a vital part of the success of the Biden-Harris administration, because if the Democrats are able to tie the Senate, the last vote goes to the Vice President of the United States, who will be, of course, Kamala Harris. So she will be the deciding vote, which would give the Democrats the majority, and therefore allowing a lot of things that would come through the Congress, being Nancy Pelosi, who, sometimes she can be iffy too, but through her and through Chuck Schumer can push through some things that possibly will be able to work for a lot of working people. Now, we can say what we want about the different parties, but it is known that the Democrats usually are for the working people. Yeah, some of the programs are not the greatest, again, but that's where reform comes in, and that's where people come in that you elect to kind of shift the system. Like AOC, she's a prime example. They didn't really think that she was going to win. They threw all this money into an incumbent Democrat. He didn't even show up to a lot of the debates. He didn't even show up, to talk to his people. He just felt, hey, I've been in this seat for a long time. The people know me. They'll just vote me in. So be it. No, but here she was, a waitress, teaching, doing her thing, kind of still living life. And she went out there and she said, you know what? I'm tired of seeing this. I'm tired of the same old. I'm going to make a change, and I'm just going to do it. And she went out and did it. And look where she is right now. She is the most hated among Republicans and of some Democrats, just because she's ushering a different type of change to the party. And I think that's where we all need to kind of be in that place. Like, if you don't like what's going on, you can change it. And the smallest step you can do, you did it. You did it, for this past election. You stood out there and voted, or you mailed in your ballot. But now it is time to kind of take it a step further. Like, okay, I mailed in my ballot. Now, what changes do you want to see? And you make sure you get in contact with your congressman. You find out who your aldermen are for your cities. You find out all that information, and you send out those letters, those emails, to make sure that they are actually working for your vote and making sure that they maintain your vote. So that's definitely important, that we definitely need to do on that. Next, let's talk about, I know I'm probably not going to go in order too much of what I wrote, but I just wanted to hit some key points. Let's talk about this prison system situation. Now, of course, we know there's been whole talk of the Trump administration on prison reform. Oh, prison reform, prison reform, prison reform. He held his hat on prison reform. However, not too many people have been released from jail, Black people or people of color, due to prison reform. What's happening in a lot of states, especially in Texas, and thank you for the article, Brother Nate, but I also read something on that as well. But in the state of Texas, especially in El Paso, they are paying the inmates to remove the bodies of other inmates who have been infected with COVID and died. The warden and the spokesperson for the prison system in that area said, of course, it is all voluntary. But as we know, the prisoners are usually doing odd jobs in the prison for next to nothing, little pennies, if that. But this, however, they get paid $2 an hour. Now, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, as the numbers skyrocket, and which I also think that even though, hey, how you doing, Smart Show? Welcome. Even though the numbers are rising, I personally think that the numbers have always been on the uptick. It's just when everybody choose not to focus on it because, you had Donald Trump over here talking about, it was going to affect his election numbers. So he demanded people not talk about it. And of course, he has the power to do so, kind of instructing the CDC not to say, hey, these are the numbers, not to have all these people talk about all the numbers. So in a way to combat that, we just don't, you just don't talk about it. So then now we are coming out of election season and we are entering in this, about these numbers. Now we're at 11 million and Texas is at 1 million people and so on and so forth. So the numbers are climbing. Why? Because let's be clear, a lot of the states really did not take the measures that they needed to safeguard the people. They listened to the president. The president said, you don't really, and they, backed off. But like Dr. Anthony Fauci said, who is the actual person we should be listening to, said that if we did not put kind of thing on it, if we did not wrangle it in before winter came, that the numbers would be crazy. If you thought those numbers were bad, you can just imagine with everybody being in close proximity to each other with winter and people having a common cold or the flu or anything like that to already endanger your immune system. Then you have something like COVID on top of that. It can just be worse. So, of course, the hospitals right now are at capacity, if not close to it. And people are starting to panic once again. The stores are starting to say, states are starting to say really that they're slowing down and shutting down yet again. And of course, that means you're not going to get any toilet paper. You're not going to find no hand sanitizer or anything other than that. Welcome to everybody who just came in the room. Hey, what's up, Conscious? Again, happy belated birthday. Hey, Queen Diva, happy belated birthday to you as well. All these birthdays in the house. Party, drink, okay? But hope you guys had a great birthday, and chilled out, didn't do too much. And could we just wish Queen Diva and Conscious a happy birthday in the chat, please, if you don't mind, please, and thank you. And also, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, please. Back to what I was saying. So, I mean, it's crazy. It really is crazy that a lot of these inmates who have even died from COVID were like low level, like people who hadn't even received the trial yet. That part is crazy to me. It was people still sitting in jail because they couldn't post bail. But yet, a lot of the Trump donors or people who said, "Oh well, I'll if he released me, I'll give a donation to his campaign." A lot of those people, scot free, was able to just walk on out. A lot of his supporters, even his former lawyer, was able to walk on out because of his health problems due to COVID. He didn't want to catch it. So how can he finish the rest of his time on house arrest? Now they released some other people, but not as many. So a lot of people wind up dying in jail, still waiting for their bail to be posted or for a trial date. Now that part is sickening. And the fact that we don't even discuss it and it's nothing that's brought up. I don't see any entertainers talking about that or asking this particular president, who is still president right now, about things of that nature. The governor of Texas, of course, he's a whole mess. I clearly have no respect for him as a man who is disabled in a wheelchair himself. To take funds away from disabled people in your state is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. I wouldn't care if he felt that he didn't need it. And that's perfectly fine because you probably didn't need it. But to take that from others, I think that's totally ridiculous. That makes no sense to me. But I mean, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but sometimes, like that saying goes, you get what you pay for. That's why voting is so important. That's why I stress it so much, because who you put in office can dictate how your state will be run. And that's more important than you worried about who's sitting in the big chair in the White House, but who's sitting in the smaller chair in your house is far more important, because your house is where it affects. I don't see none of the church leaders asking either. No, right. And they don't. And they should be. You're absolutely right, Conscious. None of the church leaders are asking. They're asking about, abortions and making sure the churches open up so they can get, their tithes and offering from their parishioners, so they can keep their jets running and all this other foolishness. So I'm just, a bit taken aback by what we allow to happen to people, and then what we stand so proudly in defense of. We stand so proudly in defense of a woman's right to choose whether or not she wants to have a baby or not. We stand so righteous for a cell which turns into an actual fetus over time, to declare when it is an actual human life, when it's not, who to marry, who we can marry and who we can't. All these other things we're so adamant about, but the smallest things, like people who may have done something wrong and may have been incarcerated, but it's okay for them to die in jail, even though, they may even be sitting there because they can't even pay $500, even though they may not even committed the crime, but because they had to go through the process and couldn't get bailed out, they're just sitting there. So then they contract COVID, and the story's history. And nothing is to be done about this or these people. I think it's absolutely outrageous. And as much as we like to, wave the Christian flag, I think that's the ugly side of this so-called, for me, kind of faith-based Christianity, in God we trust kind of mess. It's like we only want to tote God when it's something that we feel it's important. But again, if you're a Christian and you follow those guidelines, then everybody should be your concern. And those least of you should be more of your concern than you trying to, put some extra money in your pockets. So that part is totally crazy. But be sure to definitely check out that article, because that was a loop. Who else? Of course, I just can't with this next person. Lady G, I really can't. I mean, I really can't with South Carolina. I mean, conscious only because you're there. I don't feel like the need to give it a hee-haw kick like why you here, because I really don't understand how the people could even have voted for someone like Lindsey Graham. I mean, just even being a Republican, just someone who turn on a dime and be that crooked and conniving, or have no set loyalty. It is just based on saving your own skin, is ridiculous. It reminds me of so many movies where you saw the person running or trying to catch something, and then somebody came behind them and like pushed them out the way, and just to save themselves, and then wind up getting eaten or run over or something crazy, and you're like, good for you for being a dummy. But yeah, Lady G, I can't get it. I can't understand it. He must think that the Senate is going to be Republican, to where in which he would make that call. Well, for those of you who don't know, but Lindsey Graham made a phone call to the Secretary of State of Georgia. Now, mind you, he's in South Carolina, to basically ask him, is there any way that they could get rid of some of the votes that went to Joe Biden? Now, he asked this for two reasons. One, of course, is for Trump, which is illegal anyway, because it goes against election rules and laws that, of course, yeah, right. I'll put that up because that's definitely true. Dirty South for real. But anyway, he did that, of course, to please Donald Trump. But also, I'm trying to figure out what's the purpose, right? So I sat back and I thought about it. I said, well, Self said, well, why would he do that? And it's like, well, it was done before, so why would he not do it? I was like, done before? Oh, yeah, Kemp. So when Stacey Abrams and Kemp were in the gubernatorial race, Kemp himself was the Secretary of State of Georgia, right? Now, the Secretary of State gets to control how the election is run. What votes get counted, what votes get thrown away. All that is on the shoulders of the Secretary of State. Now follow me, right? So the Secretary of State at the time was Kemp. Kemp did not step down from his post so he could run the gubernatorial race. He said, no, I'm going to do both. Why? Because he knew the power of the Secretary of State, which is you could, 1, 2, skip a few, throw some votes out, throw a whole bunch of votes out, and you could win. So why wouldn't Lindsey Graham, in knowing this, right? And Lindsey Graham knowing this and probably even knowing that's exactly what Kemp did, why would he not call the Secretary of State to say, hey, yeah, how about you? What can you do to get rid of some of them votes? Hey, oh, no problem. You good, sorry. So like, of course he did, but I must say again, kudos to some Republicans that can stand up and say, you know what? Nope, I'm calling you out. As QB would say, stay off them phones. And he definitely, was like, hey, you you tried to call and threaten me? Seriously? Then somebody else just came out who actually, a lot of the staff are on the phone when a lot of these political officials are on the phone with other people, just to make sure that there's nothing nefarious going on. And somebody can say, no, I was listening in on that call. You actually said it. And for good measure, that's just what happened. Lindsey Graham, of course, Lady G trying to skirt around and deny, oh no, I was just asking about um how could we make sure that this election is actually accurate and all this other bullcrap he was talking. In actuality, somebody came out who corroborated the story and said, no, I was actually on that call and you did ask him to get rid of votes that actually went to Joe Biden. Actual votes, not nothing, that's questionable, nothing that came in after the date. No, they wanted actual ballot votes to be thrown out that were given to Biden so Trump could kind of walk away with Georgia. Now, I mean, even doing the math, if he won Georgia, kind of sort of really wouldn't make a difference at this point a little bit. So, okay. But the fact that that's even done and it's okay is crazy to me. That is why I really hope that Georgia turns up the heat for these two Senate races and makes the Senate blue with the majority. So then people like Lindsey Graham will then get punished for violating laws. And it's funny how they talk about the election being rigged and this being rigged and that not being right and all this other mess, right? But they're the main ones doing the fraud. You always talking about something being fraudulent, but you're the main ones doing the fraud. Who's calling up somebody from a whole nother state that you have nothing to do with, trying to find out how do you remove some ballot? How can you remove some ballots? And then talking about the state of the country depends on what happens in Georgia. Yeah, you know why the state of the country depends on what happens in Georgia. Because if Georgia does turn blue in the Senate, your ass is in trouble. And you may be knocked off your seat from being the chair of the judicial department. So, I mean, it's so disgusting. And at this point, I really wish people would back away from this kind of Trump nation bull and really call people out. I know Mitch McConnell is waiting, kind of playing by ear how this Senate race is going to go before he says yay to Trump or nay to Trump. But my whole thing is it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like it's over. 60 days. He's going to do what he can. If you was really bold enough and you was really, the Republican you should have been 4 years ago, even before, I give it, what was that? Not even 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when President then Barack Obama had put his Supreme Court nominee up, you should have at least heard him out and you should have had a hearing on him and you should have went through the process. Now, whether the Senate would have denied it or not, then that would have been on them. But for you not to even hear the nominee out, completely disgusting. But like I said, I think Mitch McConnell is just trying to weigh it out just to see which way this election goes, to kind of figure out if he's going to kowtow or if he's going to stand up, and be all like, well, we still have majority, so I can still block you. But I think at this point, we definitely need to put the heat to these people because they're too comfortable in these seats of power. Like it is, Barack said it himself in his new book. Like Mitch McConnell is calculated and he will do anything to remain in power. He is like drunk with it. And it's crazy that we can allow these people to be so enthralled with the power over our lives. Like there are people suffering right now and he will not give a second stimulus package. And he was thinking about it when the numbers in his reelection was looking kind of shaky. But when he kind of, when they worked it out and I guess they had some background knowledge that, hey, they're going to be okay, then he stuck by his guns and he decided, you know what? I'm not doing a stimulus package. I'm not. So if Congress brings it, we're not doing it. Like we don't want all this extra stuff in it, and they can still do it, because they have the majority. So that is definitely why Georgia needs to get on it, and we need to stop. At some point, we need to stop playing so nice and so like, it's like you in the playground with a bully, and you just constantly turning the other cheek. Like, I get it. I get it. You trying to show that you're different from the Republicans, but at what point do you just say, you know what, enough's enough? We don't have to play dirty necessarily, but we don't have to sit here and take it. Like, that when they go low, we go high. Yeah, you can go high and still let somebody know, hey, don't do it. I'm not the one, without, doing all that. And I think they taking that as a, we go high. We're just so angelic. We don't do nothing. We ain't gonna fight for nothing. It's just gonna be what it's gonna be. And it's like, no, nobody wants that. That is the reason why Trump was able to even weasel his way even up to the White House, despite his racism and all that other stuff, which of course fed into those people. The fact that a lot of Democrats won't stand and fight for something. They're just kind of, well, you should want the Affordable Care Act because it helps you with pre-existing conditions. Okay, what else? Well, it's like, get more into it. If you need to study it, then you study it, because that was the problem in the first place. They didn't push it and support it as they should have to explain it to their constituents exactly what it did. So when people just thought, oh, it's named after that black guy, I don't want it, we don't want it, the Democrats just let it go. And then you have to spend all these years trying to fight it back. Like, hey, listen, no, it protects pre-existing conditions, guys. If they get rid of it, then you're not going to have any coverage. Then people start going, what? Really? Seriously? Oh my God. No, wait, let's fight this. But if you've done that in the beginning, people would know it. They kill me a little bit. So I'm over them. So I hope they definitely get better with that. Yeah, like, I'm sick of going high. I really am. Like, I don't have to go low and toe-to-toe dirt with you, but there is a way you can let somebody know, okay, you done mess with the wrong one. Don't try it, because I will check you, and we can be done. And we can still, hey, how you doing in the office? But I just don't get that with them right now. Like, even with Joe Biden saying, well, I don't want, I want to move past whatever era Trump has done. That's fine for you. But if the attorney general sees something that's, flagging red, like, whoa, that's a true violation of the Constitution. Why the hell should not he or she, which it should be a she, but that's a whole nother, why shouldn't they be able to prosecute? He's no longer a sitting president. So then that lies, there's nothing there. So it's like, why do we need to keep playing these, oh, let's play nice with people who truly cheat? I mean, it's like when I was younger and my twin sister, we would all play a Monopoly. Like, I'd be pissed when she started cheating because she didn't want to play no more. And it's just like, just don't play. Like, just quit. Don't mess up the game for me because I'm whooping your behind. I'm whooping your ass. Don't mess up the game for me because you don't want to play no more because you're losing. No, I still want to play. So I just think, like, Democrats should be a little bit more like, no, I want to fight for this. Like, I want to fight for this. I want to make sure that we win this. That's why my hope is that Joe Biden, Kamala, and anybody they're thinking about being in their administration is down in Georgia right now, making sure that these people register and come out back again to vote for the runoffs between for the two Democratic candidates. I am. I really am. I truly am. I know that's bad because, politician, you're supposed to be fair and even killed. And I mean, I guess, but with all this corruption and dirt that's been going on with these people, it's like enough's enough. It's almost like, and no offense to, to Caucasian people, but it's like when you see some of them, and even some of us that try to be so, I'm not going to spank my child. I'm going to talk to him. And you see them in the store and they're like going ham and you just looking like, the hell? Like, nah. Like, if you don't pull that thing aside real quick and take it to the car and be like, listen here, and you, no, you can't have it. Don't touch this. Don't do that. You're doing too much talking. It's like you're doing too much talking. It's time for action. Obviously, the kid ain't listening, so it's time to elevate. You can go high. You can go high, all right, high and spank that behind. And it's just like, this is what we need to do. In this party that obviously all of a sudden sees that, oh, we're valuable now. Oh, look at all these, these black women turned out record numbers to vote, but still, you had other people who want to take the shine and try to undercut a lot of this. Oh, well, Hispanic women showed out too. Yeah, but not as much. So where's your argument? Not as much. I mean, I know a lot of people like to be included, but it's like, no, this ain't your inclusion moment. Because it wasn't you that did it. Because in fact, if Eva Longoria was truthful, and she really was she would have been down in Miami-Dade, down in Little Havana, where all the Cubans were that did not vote for Joe Biden. You could have been pushing that vote. But because you didn't push that vote, okay, then you tried to be like, oh, well, yeah, and Hispanic. And I'm not saying the Hispanic community didn't show up, but they did. But again, not in the same numbers. So, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, twist that ear. I know, right? That would be so embarrassing. I never wanted to. We always got to talk in the car, like, don't touch nothing, don't ask for nothing. You get one thing and that's it. So it better be something you want. And so we never showed out. And plus you got that look anyway that you knew once you got back to the car or to the house, most definitely, it was on and popping. So, that was like a no-no. So I just don't understand this whole, this whole thing of go low. When they go low, we go high and we just act like we're so much better than them. I could be better than you and still let you know that I ain't the one. That's all. I mean, that's all. But yeah, we really have the power, guys, and it is up to us to use it. Okay. It is definitely up to us to use it. So please make sure that we utilize our power any way we can. If that means, starting, of course, with your local officials, because that's where all the power is. I mean, yes, the top government officials, can make slight changes, but it all depends on who you have in the states where you live that really make the true difference. So please, always pay attention to that. Excuse me. What else I'm going to talk about? Okay, yeah. And about these, about this hip hop and politics, right? So there's a few people I have on the radar about this, but there's a reason. So Ice Cube, like his movies and all that good stuff, but apparently he's signed up, and I don't know how true it is. It was an article, and it wasn't on someone I actually read and follow like that, so it could have been just a story to throw out there. But anyway, the story went that Ice Cube had been invited by the Republican Party to speak at a pro-Trump rally. And my whole thing at this point, for me, is like, okay, now you pushed it from you claiming to do something for your people to now you just doing something for yourself, in my eyes. Because at this point, the election would be over with 60 some odd days, and the person that we're already dealing with, what could he possibly do in 60 some odd days that would, one, turn in his favor? Nothing. But whatever he did in 60 days would hopefully benefit him 4 years from now if the man, not speaking ill, but, if he happened to make it 4 years until 2024, right? And then not to mention, he's going to be old as dirt his damn self. You really see yourself voting for Donald Trump in 4 years? I don't see it. So, with Ice Cube meeting with him, instead of like, all right, you got your proposal, whatever you claim that you've got, mind you, no one who's actually been in the fight for any of these things that he is proposing has he went to for help, because he felt like, oh, nobody was doing nothing. Well, of course you wouldn't know if anybody was doing nothing because you was out there playing music. So if you really paid attention to who was doing what, then you would have been able to go to these people and say, hey, I have some ideas too. Can you add these? And they would have just said, hey, you know what? We've already been there, done that. But, we can take that into consideration. You got him. You got, of course, Space Cadet Kanye. And Lil Wayne, of all people, right? So this funny story, I talk about it in my news thing tomorrow, but Lil Wayne could be facing time in jail, 10 years for gun possession, ammo, for having guns, ammo, drugs, cough syrup, all kinds of stuff on him, right? Being that he was already a convicted felon for the one time when they went through the hangar and they found all that stuff in his on his private plane, he could not have any weapons on him. So why did he have a weapon, some gold-plated gun on him, is beyond me. But then I started to think about it. If you don't feel connected to where you came from, right? And you feel that you've elevated to this certain place because of your money helped you elevate to this certain place where your gremlin look, some people find attractive enough to even want to be with you, right? So you work all that in just to be in Florida and get hit with a possession charge. That's a violation of your parole or whatever thing you had. So then now you could be facing 10 years in jail. So 50 Cent, right, was gonna write, hey, you only got 60 some odd days, man. You better hit up your friend Trump and see if he can help you with your jam, man. You better hurry up. See what he could do to help you out. Now, first and foremost, this is in Florida, Trump state, basically. Like, that's Trumpian state. So the fact that you did all this hooting and hollering about picking him or supporting him, you couldn't get yourself together to make sure that, hey, even though you may support him, the people that support him, they all don't support you. But no, I guess you didn't see it that way. So you get got. Yeah, right. That part. And also, part of me is questioned. Like this artist, Little Pump. I don't know who he is. He happens to be a person of color. That's who I call, like, Latin people and all that kind of stuff. So this artist, Little Pump, right? Apparently he, raps or something. He's a hip hop artist. He endorsed Trump, but he didn't even vote. So, it's just like, understand, people, they are using people to be the okie dokes, to sit here and say, don't vote for that one. this one's a racist. This one been a racist. So this one's spewing racism in our faces. How is that okay? Again, you don't have to let your past dictate your future. So what he may have been before doesn't mean that he will be that way today. But when people show you who they are, in the words of Maya Angelou, believe them. He's showing you that he is, by all means, very racist. He'll tolerate you if he has to, because, he has to. But if he doesn't have to tolerate you, he won't. He just had a million MAGA march. As what's his face? Roland Martin said, a million, what do you call him? A million maggot march. He called it a million maggot march. Well, first of all, let's be clear. The million maggot march only had 5,000 people show up in total, which, I get it, because of course, why would they not? Because they already know, first of all, it's DC. You might get your head knocked in if you turn the corner and you go to a different part or different neighborhood. May not, be so cheerful and happy to see you. So I get it. But the fact that they were able to march, they were able to go in front of the Trump Hotel and say the national anthem and do all this craziness, break some windows and do all this craziness. There was no tear gas. There was no tanks. There was no military. There was no, nothing running through the streets of DC. Nobody with an extra gun trying to help the police do their job and killing protesters. None of that was done. They was able to just, run through DC, run amok with their little Trump flags, as if this was really something. This is just a candidate, people. This ain't, this wasn't no real, this is just a candidate. The fact that that these people were able to do all this just for one person, that's it. We really need to really take a look at ourselves. What are we doing? Because this is crazy. Because what's going to happen if this continues to build, if we allow this stuff to build and give it energy, his son is going to come next. He's not going to last 4 years. He thrives off of all this attention. Once Biden is sworn in, it becomes less about him. The news outlets are showing him that now. Even Fox is kind of biting back against a lot of the voter fraud and all this other kind of stuff that they're spewing. But again, it's a little too late though, because you should have been doing this before. You should have been holding this president accountable for his actions before. The reasons why you did not is still bewildering to me, because at the end of the day, if you're supposed to be a journalistic outlet, then you were supposed to have somewhat, you could have your preferences, but you're still supposed to be objective to, to the president and his policies. I just don't, I don't get it. I really, really don't. They've become so consumed by getting the viewerships that they would just watch a train wreck. And it's become quite disgusting. I'm over watching the train wreck. I'm over having that just constantly turn the TV. Trump said this, Trump said that. Most of the time he's saying it because it is something that will catch the media's attention, and they will play it over and over and over and over again. Been messed with Lil Wayne since he disrespected Emmett Till. I said, yeah, right. He said it himself. So, he said the racism doesn't exist because white people go to his concerts and listen to his music. And I'm just like, dummy, they've always done that. You're nothing special. You can ask the Harry Belafontes and the other people that came way before that. Have white people listened to your music? Have white people stole your music? Yes. I mean, the lack of education, the lack of knowledge with some of these people, and then yet they push them forward to then tell you who to vote for is ridiculous to me. And the fact that we as a people, as a group, listen is beyond me. Like even with their pushing Black men not to vote for the Democratic ticket, mainly kind of because of Kamala Harris and kind of making that chauvinistic. He's more of a man. He's a man's man. How? Please explain to me that. How can we sit here and say that Trump, in his actions right now, after the election, he can't even concede to someone that has beat him? First of all, that's the first sign of a man in humbleness, in integrity, in just willing to say, all right, cool, you won, and move on. You're going to sit here and hold it as long as you can. Your tweets, I won the election, hands down. You think that's enough for you to say and keep it moving, that people are going to go, okay, yeah, he did win. Let it go. Let him have his 4 more years. Who's going to do that? But he's lived his whole life that way. And that's the problem. And we've allowed it for 4 whole years plus, even up to when he was running. You've allowed this kind of behavior. That now that they have this man baby, even, well, the one Koch brother that is still left living regrets all of the stuff he's done. Oh, I regret even, I regret all the political divisiveness that I've created. Yeah, after you done poured millions of dollars into bullshit, now you want to talk about, oh, it's a problem. You've created this. And if you got to go to your grave with it, just like your brother went to his grave with it, then so be it. I'm sorry that your brother visited you like the Christmas Carol Grinch and told your ass, oh, you better change it because I'm in hell right now. So you better say you're sorry about what we've done because you're going to join me in hell. And he decided to, come clean and say he's sorry for creating all of this political division. But I mean, too late. It's already been created. You created it when y'all, helped Trump with this birther bull crap. And then you tried to even use it on Kamala Harris. I mean, I can't. I really cannot. Really can't. But back to my point with Black men. Really wake up. Really, I get it. The Democratic Party ain't been that supportive or haven't been that supportive of our communities and our issues. But the reality is you haven't been that supportive of your communities and your issues. Because if you were, then you would be doing things to protect your communities and your issues. And you wouldn't be waiting for a party of politicians who are majority not your color to fix what you've done to your own communities. I mean, let's just call a thing a thing. I really don't. I never understand that because it'd be the most wokest, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud people talking about the goodness of what Donald Trump's administration has done. And it's like, well, what have you done in your own communities? I do it now. I speak here, there. I'm trying to open up a school. Ain't even get it fixed yet, but I'm still asking for donations. What else are you doing? But other than telling people not to vote because it doesn't suit you. It's not working for us. Until it starts working for us, then we're going to vote. Hey, like anything, nothing moves unless you move it. A car won't move unless you press the button or turn the key to cut the damn thing on. And then you got to hit the gas. Because then once you cut it on, all it does is run. Don't move nowhere. You got to put your foot on the brake. You got to change the gear. You have to participate in getting it moving. It's the same thing. Like there, you will get nothing if you don't participate. You will get nothing. And you sit back for so long, and then when you decide that you want to get active, then you coming up with, oh, we need to have a plan, and I think this plan will work. Where the hell you been? Where have you been? Where have you been? When you listen to music that promotes inner city violence, that promotes, well, I got to get this bread the best way I can, so I'm going to sell drugs. I don't care who I sell to. Where are you selling those drugs at? You ain't going to Park Avenue selling them drugs. You're not in Central Park selling them drugs. You're not in High Street in Brooklyn selling those drugs. You in your own community. You shitting where you sleep. And then you're going to want somebody to come into you want somebody else who doesn't live in your community, don't really know nothing about it. You're going to hold them more accountable than yourself about fixing your community. I'll wait. I will wait on that. I will wait. Yeah. So that's totally crazy. But yep. Anybody got any questions, comments, or concerns? I think I covered everything. I think I did. Anybody want to say any last words since we're coming up on an hour and 2 minutes? But other than that, yep, be sure to be here on Thursday for another episode of the Gentleman's Panel, which will be here on Cap Hill. And it should be a good show, too. A good show. Good show. Can't wait for you guys to see it. But yeah, no, I really, again, lastly, of course, you guys, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Definitely make sure that if you live in Georgia, you are registered. And if you know people that are not registered, who did not even vote in the presidential election in Georgia, please, it is important. It is like, this is really like life and death. I mean, yes, the presidential election was life and death, but this is extra critical that we really push the vote turnout for this. Yeah, because a lot of things can be done in secret with this election that would put a whole lot of attention if it was done. Like if the Secretary of State in Georgia would have actually done what Lindsay Graham asked him to do, that would blow up. That would be so big of a scandal. It would be ridiculous. And I don't even think the state would be able to recover from that completely. But in a generalized state election, things can be done that we may not even hear about. Just like when Stacey Abrams was running in the gubernatorial race, how Kemp was able to take 500,000 votes of people that were registered voters, not dead, actual voters, and just wipe them clean off the rolls. Where in which he won, even after doing that, he won by a slither of a margin. So just imagine if he did not wipe away them 500,000 ballots, who would be governor right now? So that's what I'm saying. It is very important. I mean, it is vital that if you live in the state of Georgia, that you please make it your business to get people involved. That means if you have a prayer line, talk to your prayer partner, school, talk to your people. This is so important. Like, this is important. If you ever wanted to know if your vote matters and counts, this is telling you right here. And they will do anything in their power to stop it. trust and believe. The Republican Party, especially the Senate, they know how important this is. They know it. Mitch McConnell knows it. He knows if he loses the majority here, basically anything that Joe Biden and Kamala push for, it will go through without a problem. Without a problem. Yeah, they can be mad and they could hitch a fit all they want. But at the end of the day, the Senate has the majority. So the Senate, it would go how it goes if they, get it to switch blue. So my hope is that they do. My hope is that we all make sure that we get in contact with our people down in Georgia, like I do, one of my close friends, and make sure that, hey, did you get somebody registered today? I drive him crazy, but hey, I don't care. I do what I got to do. I'm not there, so, but I mean, if there's anything you can do, the smallest thing helps. We have to make sure that we know that we are all in this together, even when we have difference of opinion. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, you may not like the candidate I have, but however, at the end of the day, if my candidate wins, then you just fall in line, and whatever issues you may have, I hope you get those met too. It's not all about, give me all of my needs and forget about whomever else didn't vote for you. No, at the end of the day, they govern for everybody. So yeah, everybody should get a piece of something they want done within reason. Yeah, I just think that that's the way it should be run. But we just have to really be mindful. Like, the writing is on the wall. These Republicans don't give a damn. They don't give a damn, and they will burn this thing down to the ground any way they see fit if they don't get their way. And we cannot live like that. We can't live like that. You cannot live, depending upon a turkey neck Mitch McConnell to decide what you're going to do with your livelihood. Because that's literally what it is. I mean, there's like 300 plus bills sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk right now that he will not sign, that he won't even look at. That's because he knows he has the majority and the power to decline all that. We need to stop playing these nice political games and really kind of get in the fray a little bit. Get dirty a little bit. It's okay. We can still go high and let them know, like, yeah, okay, don't try me, try Jesus. And that's just what it is. I just don't, I can't stress that enough. So people, please make sure that we are doing our part. To all of my people that have voted, that did participate, thank you. It doesn't stop here though. Please, it doesn't stop here. So don't think it's over, because it's not. We still, have 60 more days of this buffoon, and we don't know what he's going to do. So retard alert for that one. If I had my button, I would press it. But yeah, retard alert for that one, because we don't know what the hell he might do. He has 60 days. He's talking about attacking Iran, which is something that unfortunately he can do. I mean, Congress can block him, but he needs, but he would still have, the Senate kind of backing him up on some buffoonery. He can do that and then walk away from office and let Joe Biden have to deal with whatever repercussions come from that, and then go, well, see, if I was president, it wouldn't have happened. Hey, how you doing, Janice? James, I saw your question. Yeah, Mitch McConnell does look like a cartoon turtle. Yeah. He just looks crazy. But thank you, Tanari. Thank you so much for posting that. Thank you. And yes, there will be, as far as I know, there will be a nightcap this Friday night. So, and what that is, if you care to know, it's just, a little more adult talk with my co-host Antonio, and you guys, and we just have fun. It's just about having fun. I mean, yeah, this politics can be a bit worrisome and can drive you a bit crazy. So sometimes you do need to let your hair down and just woosah and take a breath. And that's kind of what the nightcap is. Nothing special, nothing spectacular, but just that, just having normal adult conversation about weird and crazy stuff and stuff. Hey, I learned some new things. I've learned a lot about my little brother. Uh, some of which I wish I didn't know, but now that I know it, I see him in a whole different light. But I mean, it's all cool. But yeah, getting back to and bring your own bag, bring your own liquor, please. Yeah. Bring your own bottle, or your own nightcap. Yeah, but if you haven't checked out the nightcap episodes and you want to kind of know what it's about, I believe there's like 3 up. So you can check those out. And leave a comment, please. Leave a comment if you liked it, didn't like it. Any suggestions, you can leave a comment there as well. Also, you can email me and I will, of course, respond. But that's what it is here. It's nothing, we can have open dialogue. We can have a difference of opinion, and, we can still have a clear vision for our communities and where we live. So, and I think that's highly important. This craziness has made more people aware of politics. Yeah, but it should though. And I mean that's a good thing. The part that makes me frustrated about it are the lives we have lost. And then people say, "Oh, I felt like I needed to get involved for watching George Floyd," and it's like, okay, there was a Tamir Rice before there was a George Floyd. There was a Michael Brown before there was a George Floyd. There was Trayvon Martin before there was a George Floyd. So, and then the dude in South Carolina that got shot in the back. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name right now, but so many people before George Floyd. Like, thank you for coming, but you're a little late to the party. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and if you do come late like you come, when you late to church and, everybody, you open that door and everybody look back like, and you just kind of, then that's what you should do. Nobody comes into something late, hey, I'm here. Nah, you don't do that. Sit your ass down, be quiet, sit your ass down, ask what's going on, ask who's running what program is this? Am I late? Did I miss the refreshment? Did they do offering already? Ask those questions. Don't just come in something thinking, you got the wherewithal because what you do movies and you was a part of a group, mind you, that niggas with attitudes. I get it. And again, if in fact you felt, oh, this could affect my children, great. I understand that wholeheartedly. But at the same time, don't use your platform to discourage people from doing something to where in which could be effective to a whole bunch of people. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, when we vote, we're not just voting for ourselves. We're not just voting for ourselves. I know a lot of people like to take that whole selfish issue like, I voted for me. No, you didn't vote for you. You didn't vote for you. You voted for everybody that they could not vote. All the lives that were lost that could not vote, that allowed you the access to vote. That's who you voted for. That's exactly who you vote for. When you go into that cubicle thing and you press that button, pull that lever, that's who you're voting for. Yeah, your issues or your platform or whatever you find vital to you is what you see. But first of all, Virginia Redbone, don't yell at me. I see you. Hello. But you don't have to yell. So yeah, you don't like that. That's not, you don't gotta do all that. People, we need to really grab onto our power, because if we don't, we won't have it soon. Okay? I'm trying to let you know we will not have it soon if we continue to fight amongst ourselves about things that really, there's a bigger picture out here. Okay? And if we're not playing ball, yeah, we'll be left behind. So let's get active. It's all about action. We definitely need to get it. You are yelling. Caps means you're yelling. I don't know if you knew that, but Virginia Redbone, caps mean you're yelling. And if you're all caps, that means you're yelling. And everybody knows that. But thank you. Thank you for coming. You might have to catch the replay unless you was up in the balcony the whole time. But thank you for coming, as always. Thank you. It does mean you're yelling. Ain't nothing. I mean, it's all good, but it means you're yelling. And I don't like to be yelled at. So, thank you. No, I'm not saying you did. I'm saying your caps means that you're yelling. That's what all caps mean. I don't know exactly if you're yelling. I'm just saying. No, I didn't, honestly. No, you didn't know that, or no, you weren't yelling. But anyway, thanks for coming. Pretty much, I think that's about it. I don't think nobody has anything else to say. And on that note, hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for coming out. God bless. Good night. In the words of Russell Simmons. That was because I used to watch Def Comedy Jam all the time. But anyway, everybody have a great night. Be safe. Just relax. 50 some odd, 59 days, 58 days. And then maybe we could kind of breathe a little bit. But until then, we kind of got to still hang in there and deal with the craziness of the retard alert, otherwise known as President Donald Trump, for now. But all right, later.